Photoshop, Chapter 7 of the 2015 release. If you open up your finished file, you're going to see that guy with the kooky hair again, and our same little background. This time everything's been cropped for us, and we don't have to go through and use those files that we did. It's all put together for you. Because this is a magazine cover, we're working with the type, particularly learning how to use it on a line and how to put your text in this type of format, which is actually an image behind it, and you're going to use a mask on that to make the circuit board come through as the design rather than a solid fill for the type. Photoshop can preserve the vector-based type outlines when you scale or resize if you're saving a PDF or an EPS file, so that you can print images directly into what's called a PostScript printer, which is a high-end printer for actually printing smooth lines on vector images. And we can get very crisp edges. You can apply effects and you can apply styles, and everything will come out lovely in print. Go ahead and leave that open as a reference, and then you're going to open up 07 Start. You also have the file for the circuit board that you're going to be putting in to use as the background image for the title of the magazine. So let's open this. And you can see we have the model, we have the background. In order to get everything lined up correctly, let's go to View, Fit on Screen, and we're going to add rulers. So if your rulers aren't showing up here, you can go to View and Rulers and click on that so that they'll show. Mine are already showing, so I've got a check mark. And we're going to drag rulers in just like we did in Illustrator. So just click on the ruler itself and drag a vertical guide in. We want this one in the center of the magazine. You can use the pop-up, the Smart Guide, so that you can get it at 4¼ inch, 4.25, and drop that there. We're ready to add some type to the composition. In Photoshop, just as in Illustrator, you can do both horizontal and vertical type. You can enter point type, which would be a single letter, word, or line, just like we could do that in Illustrator, where you could click and start typing. Or we can do paragraph type, and we're going to do both of those. First, we're going to create some point type. We want to select the background image, and with your horizontal type tool, which is the regular one, if you click and hold on it, you do have vertical. You also have a type mask and in horizontal and vertical, but we're working with the horizontal type tool, and we're going to pick up some type of serif font. So anything that you like that has a serif in it is going to be absolutely fine. They suggest Minion Pro. If you do not have Minion, select something else that you do have. I'm going to make this very large because this is my headline, and I'm going to type in 144 points, so I do know I want a large type. I also want this to be centered, and I want to change my tracking. I need to go to my type, which should be up here. If you don't have the character panel available, go to Window and select Character, but it should come up, so you should be able to select it right here. Change your tracking to 100. That's going to space your text out. Tracking is the space between letters. Click on the center guide that you just put in and make an insertion point, and you're going to type in the text, all caps, digital. You can edit, you can manipulate as you would any other layer. You can add text, you can change the text, you can change the orientation of the type, you can apply anti-aliasing, you can apply layer styles, transformations, you can create masks, you can move, you can stack. This is a large font, and it's actually taking this too big. So we are actually going to change the type. Commit your change. There's your typeface. And now with your type tool, select the text, and we're going to go to Myriad, which you should have loaded. Again, if not, you're going to have to find something that you do have. We're looking, and you can see everything as you scroll through. You're going to get everything popping up. But we want Myriad Pro semi-bold, which is a sans serif typeface. And again, you do not have to use the same font. Find something that works, that fits. I need to actually bring this down because my typeface is up too high. I want to make sure it stays centered, but I need it down right about in here. And it's spanning the width of the magazine. Commit any edits, which I don't need to. And this looks very much like a more modern typeface. Go ahead and do a save right now. We're going to save as, and the name of this file is 07 Working. And again, add your initials as always. Next, we're going to open up the circuit board file. Go to Window and Arrange, and we would like to look at 2 up vertical. That way we can see both our magazine and the circuit board. Click the circuit board file. It's a TIFF. We want that to be the active window. All you're going to do with this is click on it, hold down your Shift key, and drag onto your image. And then you've already got a copy of this made by clicking and dragging rather than having to do a copy and paste. So now you can close that, and let's take this image back. We're going to arrange, and I'm going to consolidate back to tabs. I want to scale my image. So you can, if you have your transform controls showing, you can just click and drag on those. If you don't, you can go into Edit, Transform, and Scale. Hold down your Alt and your Shift as you resize because we want to make it we are trying to keep this centered on the board. So if you drag from the outside, if you drag with just your Shift, you're going to only drag the one side. So we are going to do an Alt Shift, which is going to center this on the board and keep it, because of where we are, we wanted it centered. So if you resized a little bit and you need to change that, go for it. Hold down your Shift key as you size to keep your proportions. But we want to take this down to being approximately the same width as the magazine. Reposition the text. You can use your Shift key as you drag up. Hello, there it is. Well, it's supposed to keep it so it goes straight up. We want to cover the text with the circuit board. Double click that layer. Now, once you accept your change, double click it and rename it circuit board. And we're going to use Create Clipping Mask from the Layer Panel menu. What Create Clipping Mask does is it uses the layer below it as the form for the mask. So we have now placed that circuit board in and applied a layer mask from the text that was beneath it. The underlying shape is the shape used to create that clipping mask. Select the digital layer to make it the active layer now. And we want to place an inner shadow on there. So go to the effects at the bottom, layer styles, and we're going to choose inner shadow. And this, you can make your own adjustments for what you feel, and yours, if you used a different font, your text is going to look somewhat different, so you will need to also adjust what your inner shadow is going to be. Your settings may be different. So we would like to keep multiply. The opacity needs to be brought up a little bit. They chose 48%. The distance, which is as we've used before, the distance is how far from the edge, but this time the distance is going inside. They chose a distance of 18. You may choose something else. Your choke will stay 0. Your size is going to also increase. We want that size to be larger. They used 16. You might want to choose something else. The choice is yours for what you want to do. Say OK to accept that, and then make sure you save so that you do not lose what you've already done. Read the section on paragraph and character styles on the top of page 165. You will need to note that yes, you can set up paragraph and character styles in there just as you were able to in Illustrator. We're next going to start creating type on a path. We can follow a path that we create with a pen or with your shape tool. The direction the type flows depends on the order in which the anchor points were added to the path. So if you want them reading left to right, that's the way you need to draw your path. When you use the horizontal type tool to add text to the path, the letters are going to be perpendicular to the baseline. So if you draw an angle, an angled line, your type is going to be perpendicular, so it's going to tilt to be straight up and down from whatever that baseline is. It's not going to be horizontally straight up and down. It's going to be perpendicular to that baseline. The type will move with the baseline. We've done type on a path. In Illustrator, it's working the same way. In the Layers panel, you're going to select